Yes, people, it's Marcus. This is Invest and Prosper. We're here again talking about investments that you can do that are big, investments that you can do that are small, investments that are medium, whatever it is, ways that you can invest so that you can start climbing the ladder and get up to the top and have the desired lifestyle that you want and to have financial freedom. So, with that, what I want to talk about is one of the investments, the second investment that I made after my first book, which was 3% Man by Corey Wayne. I'll put something up so that it'll link you to that. But yeah, the second book that I bought was this one. It was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki, and I really loved the book. It opened my eyes to a lot of things. One time I was in a car with my friend, we went to the gym, and one time I was getting my stuff out the back. My friend must have peeped the book, and I told him about the book, and straight away he went and bought it and started reading it. And since then he's been on like the same similar journey as me, like constantly reading books and just getting knowledgeable to certain things, you know what I mean? Whether they apply the principles and stuff like that, that's not up to me, but I've inspired one person, and that made me feel better. And the other day was just saying to me like, you're the reason I started reading books, and that's a fact. So I feel kind of good about that. So obviously from just doing that, obviously I feel like I can do this on and pass this sort of thing on to other people and stuff. So it was a good feeling that man kind of told me about that. But anyway, yeah, this is the second book that I ever bought, man, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the book just kind of completely like changed my mindset. Like all things just started making sense. A lot of things that I never knew about, and this is why I needed to start reading books more, because I never knew about passive income before. You know what I mean? I knew about assets and liabilities, but not in the amount of detail that this book goes into. And the maddest thing about this book is my teacher was at college. He told me because he knew I was good at business. He could tell. Like I was the first person to finish in class, finish my college qualification. I was the first one to finish it, and I didn't have to go no more, and everybody was still behind doing it, and he just knew. And in one time I remember him saying to me, and he told me about this book, and them times there I was just ignorant. I was just like, book? Nah, I don't read books, you know what I mean? I just touched it to the side, and he told me, if you can get good at this kind of stuff, you can it's short, I can't remember, it was to do with stocks, and he was saying to me, if you can get good at this kind of stuff, you can earn a lot of money. But I didn't listen to it then, and I wish I did listen to it now, you know what I mean? But eventually it came around and I got the book, and yeah man, I read it, fell in love with it, kept reading, and it just showed me like how you've been kind of lied to your whole life, you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't know about passive income and assets, liabilities, portfolio income and all of that kind of stuff, and I'm going to go into that in a minute. So for those who don't understand, if it wasn't for this book. So the book's made by Robert T. Kiyosaki, and he was a guy who was in I think he had a bit of military experience, a bit from some time and that, but he always wanted to know like what the rich do, and what he's basically saying in the book is he had a rich dad and he had a poor dad. So his actual father was like his poor dad, but he had like a surrogate father who was his rich dad, and his rich dad was constantly like teaching him and his best friend at the time like ways to make money. And one time they built like a machine on the back, but there was printing money, you know what I mean? And he just goes into all these lessons. He's always constantly teaching them, and he kind of grew him up. Obviously his real dad didn't like it, because his real dad were in the situation of, you know what I mean? He was successful as well, but not on the same like richness. He was more educational success, which it only hits a certain point and he's still, you know what I mean? But his other dad was more clued up and, you know what I mean, really grown, and he's got a lot of street smarts to him. So that's what the book's kind of about. It gives you the two perspectives, and it shows you it made more sense for him to go with his rich dad and do this and do that, and then he eventually became like a quite wealthy person. But so that's what the book's about. So what I'm going to talk about next is who the book's for. In the book, really and truly, I would give the book to kids, me. Like, kids need to know this shit. Like, I'd be a lot wiser if I knew this shit when I was young. Would I apply it though? I'd probably be thinking I've got all this time left. But really and truly, you haven't. The sooner you get started, the better. The best time was planting a tree 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So the book really gives you an insight to what you should be doing with your money. Don't be spending it on silly things. Don't be going out and following conventional wisdom. If you know what I mean, you want to be allergic to social norms, because social norms are all about getting money, and they will trick you. They will trick you. A lot of things I don't believe in. I'm not going to say them on here because I don't want to cause an uproar and stuff like that, but a lot of things I think are not the way things have been going, and we've been told a lot of lies in our lives to get us to sell us on this idea, to sell us on this idea, and a lot of it comes from social proof and all of them things, so we get forced the wrong information, you know what I mean? But the book, yeah, I'd say give it to kids. I'd say give it to people who are constantly in a situation that they don't like. I'd say give it to entrepreneurs so they know what to do with their money when they get it. I'd say give it to business individuals. Really and truly, I'd say give it to everybody, because this information needs to be known, and it needs to be known from a young age. You have to know it from a young age. I think rich people will teach their kids this, but if you don't have that, and if it wasn't for this book, I would be going down a steady path of probably mediocrity for my life. You know what I mean? I wouldn't know about all the things that these people have put in this book, so I'm very thankful for myself for buying it and finding out about it. So let me go into four benefits. We're doing 4 benefits today of what I learned from this book. So one of the key benefits what I learned from this book was make money work for you. See, what they're saying is poor and middle class people, they work for money, but the rich, they make money work for them. So what they're saying is basically, although these poor and middle class people, they may have had to start, these rich people or whatever, they may have had to start at a certain point and grind their asses off and build themselves to where they are now. But eventually what happened was they started leveraging the money. So here's what they did. Obviously, let's go into a big company like Walmart. The guy at Walmart wasn't in the shop 24/7 working. He might have been at the start and grinding constantly, but it wasn't always. When he got rich, he probably wasn't working there, you know what I mean? He was leveraging his money and putting this person in place to do that, this person in place to do that, getting automation, because we got automation now, getting a certain system to automate and talk to you on the phone. So you know what I mean, taking care of all them little things, and you probably pass your money off to somebody else so that you don't have to do it. Leveraging your money so that you can do more important tasks. I shouldn't have to cut this grass. I can get somebody else to cut the grass so I can do something that's more important. Cutting that grass is going to probably take about an hour of my time, right? I need the hour for myself so I can focus on my business, so I can focus on making it better. So what I want to do is leverage that. I want to get somebody else to do that, and so I can do the things that I really need to do so I can make myself more income. So that's one of the things that I learned. That's a big takeaway, and I don't think enough people learn how to do that. They don't understand that, and I think they really need to understand that, because nobody really, I don't know, some people might like doing the 9 to 5 stuff, but for me personally, I don't really want to. I'd rather have a bit more freedom and understand what I'm doing, have somebody take care of this, take care of that, and let me work on making my next business or my next venture, or doing something else what I'm passionate in, so I can get my cash flow going and bring in more income. So the next thing that I learned about is passive and portfolio income. So passive income is money that you earn from real estate. So from houses, big buildings, all of them kind of things, money that comes in constantly. So if you get somebody renting it, they're renting it from you, they're paying you money constantly all the time. The money's going like this, money's going like this, money's going like this. So you basically worked one time, but you're getting paid constantly, and you're not even doing any more on that. So that's passive income. Portfolio income, however, is money like to do with stocks and stuff like that, where you invest in the stock market and things like that, you know what I mean? So that's portfolio income, and then you get dividends, and you get what's the other one now? Coupons and stuff like that. And that money kind of comes in constantly, as long as the stock's doing well. So those are 2 big key takeaways. Those are 2 things that you really need to invest in. If you want to get rich, you want to have your money work for you, because you don't want to be going out to earn your income all the time. You know what I mean? When you do that, it's like you're constantly working for money rather than letting your money work for you. And also, you get less tax on passive income and portfolio income. There's certain tax advantages to it. Earned income, there's not many tax advantages. So definitely look into passive and portfolio income if you want. I'll leave the link in the description for the book so that you can buy the book. The third benefit that I learned is always consider your choices. Always be smart to consider your choices. If you don't know this stuff right now that I'm talking about, maybe you've never heard of it. Some people we just don't know. But a lot of the time we're just really ignorant. And you know what I mean? You shouldn't be ignorant. I always try and open my ears to things now. Since I've read these books now, it's changed my perspective and it's changed my mindset. And I always try and open my perspective to certain things. Yo, I'm back again. Sorry about that, yo. The camera, I've got the camera on something and it kind of dropped down, and that's why there was so much confusion there. That's why I kind of was like thinking to myself, what just happened, you know what I mean, if you clock that. But yeah, back to what I was saying again. So I was on about always consider your choices. Yeah, you always got to consider your choices, man. You always got to think about if I spend this now, will I have enough left for whatever. Have I got enough left for my business? Have I got enough left for my family when I get back? If I spend this now, will I be able to invest in that in a few months' time? If I spend this now and waste this, what could happen down the line? You've always got to consider what could happen, you know what I mean? So always be thinking about your choices, the choices that you make, you know what I mean? If you are one of them people, fam, and this goes out to the people who are in relationships, well, this one, yeah? If you are in a relationship, and this could be men or women, yeah? Maybe the other person just doesn't get it, and you're trying to tell them about certain things to make them more income, but they just don't get it, and they act on impulse all the time, and they just go out and spend. You know what I mean? If that happens to you, my strong advice, I don't like saying this because I know how hard it is, especially if you've been with someone for years, but you just need to let go. You need to let go because they're going to drag you down. They're going to drag you down. If you're going out with them to eat and they always try and finger you and they always manage to just persuade you to go out and they keep pushing and they always want to do this and do that, but you know your mission's not that, somewhere along the line something's going to happen and a decision is going to cost you something big, you know what I mean? And you're going to be upset. Sorry about that. You're going to be upset. It's happened to me before. It's happened to a lot of people that I know, and really and truly you just have to think about yourself. You got to love yourself and think to yourself, what is best for me? And you got to get out of it, man. You got to get out of it. So choose wisely, choose your friends wisely. Just make great decisions, man. Be prudent enough to make great decisions. Sometimes you're going to hit a learning curve. You might make a mistake, learn something and bounce back, but at least you learn something and at least you're still alive if you're here to do it and tell the tale, you know what I mean? So just be conscious of the choices that you make. And the fourth benefit that I learned from this book was about assets and liabilities. I'll tell you straight, I know about assets and liabilities. I didn't know a lot about what they meant. I've heard about them before. I did business at college, so I've heard about them before and stuff like that, but the way they taught me, fam, was not the way that this book taught me, you know what I mean? And when I say I really pay, I mean I've read this book about 10 times. It must be 10 times, because I know I read Corey Wayne 10 times and then I read this 10 times. And then there was one more book, the third book that I bought, which was How to Win Friends and Influence Others, and I've read that roughly, that might be about 6 times, but I wanted to really get the gist and the knowledge in my head. So yeah, your assets and liabilities. Assets, basically what this book is trying to say is an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. So it could be a business that you own where money keeps coming in, a job that you work where money's coming in. It could be your royalties from music that you make or something like that where money's constantly coming in. And what else is it now? Another asset, we've got real estate, stocks could be another asset. Something that keeps money coming in and coming in and coming in. So that's one thing, that's an asset. Now liabilities are things where money goes out. So for instance, a mortgage on a house, that is a liability. That is not, it's mad how we think that a house is such a good thing when all it is money going out constantly for God knows how many years. So as soon as you get a house, mortgage, whatever, money's going out, and you don't really want it, do you? The car, liability again, money's constantly going out. I don't even want to get into that one, but even, blood, even your girlfriend can be, a kid can be a liability, you know what I mean? So obviously those things are all liability. Anything that takes money out of your pocket is a liability. It's, I swear down, yeah, if you're, this goes out to people who are dating and stuff, look for a woman or a man who is an asset, fam, yeah? Who knows how to put money in your pocket. It will make your life so much easier. Obviously, if you're working together and you got your money flowing together and blah blah blah, look for, because fam, there is so many people out here who do not know how to generate income, and I swear down, they will drag you down, because every time they go out, you've got to pay money, and you've got to pay money with them, and it just, you know what I mean? So it's better find someone who knows how to put money in their pocket, who's not just working, but they also focus on a purpose or ambition or something like that. I'm telling you now, you'll get bored and you'll hate it, and it'll start to annoy you, and you'll want to change the person. You'll see so much potential that you could see in this person, and you want to change them, but you can't. You've got to let them change on their own accord, and one day they might suddenly turn around and say, I want to change, I want to do better and whatever. And that comes usually from immense trauma, you know what I'm saying? They've got to have a serious life event that will happen that will make them want to do that. But more time, people are just comfortable and just okay with living the way that they want to live. So you got to let them do that. And if that's not you, I swear down, fam, honestly, the best thing you can do is move away. So yeah, assets and liabilities, man. Always try and find assets. If you're doing something, say you're going to the gym, look at ways that you can make money from going to the gym, so that you're not always paying that money out. If you're going to eat at restaurants, look for ways that you could make money at this restaurant rather than paying money out all the time. You know what I mean? Just look for little tiny details or little things that you could do to offer them value, so that they can offer you value, so that, you know what I mean, you can get a little something out of it, you know what I mean? Just be very tactful and be conscious, because if you haven't got recurring income, you got recurring spending. A mentor told that to Ty Lopez, and I've always remembered it since. So always look for a way to get recurring income. Money coming in, money coming in, money coming in, set up multiple businesses, whatever you need to do. So yeah, man, that's me. I'll put Rich Dad Poor Dad in the description. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. I'm Marcus, your host for Invest and Prosper, and yo, boom bang, we're out.